Rashee Rice just underwent knee surgery. We'll talk about how things could have been much worse for him. We'll talk about the Chiefs' hunt for a replacement at the wide receiver position to replace Rashee Rice. And then we'll also look at a state of the union for the Chiefs as they head into the bye week. I am Gary McKenzie, your host here at RGR Football. Welcome to another episode. So starting with Rashee Rice's knee injury. He underwent knee surgery earlier this week to repair an injured LCL. So the LCL is the interior ligament of your knee, and it is a very rare injury in the NFL, and in terms of knee injuries in general, it is very rare. Less than 2% of knee injuries are a tear to the LCL, with only that ligament being damaged. From all the news I've been reading, it sounds like that is what Rashee Rice sustained. He went to Dallas to get surgery by Dr. Dan Cooper, a world-renowned knee surgeon. He is also the head team physician for the Dallas Cowboys. He is expected to miss 2024, but will be ready for a full return in 2025 without any delays. Why can't Rashee Rice come back and play this season? Whenever it's been mentioned that within 6 weeks he might be able to be up and walking and moving again on that repaired LCL tendon. The reason for that is because the hamstring is attached to a joint near where that LCL tendon is also attached, and you cannot work out that hamstring until 4 months after the surgery. So there's a 4-month wait before you can work your hamstring out. Otherwise, you may do damage to that restructured tendon. So that's why Rashee Rice will be out for the rest of the year, because he has to wait 4 months. And even though that'll be around January, there will be significant atrophy after waiting for that muscle to heal, or that tendon to heal. And he'll have to have time to strengthen his legs before he's ready to play. So he'll be ready to play in 2025 after his suspension. I think that the situation with the street racing, highway racing, dumb decision, whatever you want to call it, will be tacked on in 2025, and he'll likely miss 4 to 6 games going into 2025. So we won't see Rashee Rice for about a year. And hopefully he has a good recovery. When I mentioned at the start of the video that it was good news, it could have been much worse for Rashee Rice. He could have had further structural damage. So there have been other players in the NFL who have torn their LCL, but they also had further structural damage. They were also operated on by Dr. Dan Cooper. J.K. Dobbins is one. Gus Edwards is another. Both players were able to make a full return back to the NFL and looked mostly like their former selves. So I think this is an optimistic outlook for Rashee Rice to come back and look like his former self after his injury. It's just going to be a while before we see him, because he's going to be out for the rest of the year because of the injury, and then the start of next year he's going to be out because of his suspension. So now the Chiefs are on the hunt for a wide receiver, and what are they going to do to replace Rashee Rice's production? It's a tragedy for the Chiefs. He was forming to be the number one receiver for the Chiefs and really looked the part both at the end of last year and the start of this year. So the Chiefs are now going to be looking for a wide receiver. They have Hollywood Brown, who may come back during the playoffs. But between now and the end of the season, what are they going to do? The trade deadline in the NFL is November 5th. So the Chiefs have less than a month to try and make a trade with another team to get a wide receiver if they want to go that route. There are a handful of teams in the NFL that I think right now, as of week 5, week 6, are perhaps ready to wave the white flag and say, okay, let's do some rebuilding. Those teams are New England Patriots, the Cleveland Browns, Tennessee Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the LA Rams, and the Carolina Panthers. Of those 6 teams, I think 4 of them have intriguing options for the Chiefs, where the Chiefs maybe could do something to go after one of these players. With the Browns, we already talked about this, Amari Cooper. This is a very obvious trade partner for the Chiefs. The Browns may be wanting to move on from Deshaun Watson, which he's played like absolute crap this year. So they may be wanting to move on and do some rebuilding, and they may be open to the idea of trading a draft pick for Amari Cooper. Now, Amari Cooper, also the price is right with him. So he would be a player who I think could come in very soon with the Chiefs this season and be able to help out. So you almost guarantee that Brett Veach is calling the Browns and asking about Amari Cooper. The Titans, I think, are a very interesting trade partner for the Chiefs because they may be wanting to move on from Will Levis. They have receiving options on that team. They have Treylon Burks, who has barely sniffed the field. They have Tyler Boyd. They have DeAndre Hopkins. I think Boyd and Hopkins, their contracts may be a little bit pricey for the Chiefs, but Burks is kind of like a Brett Veach special. He loves going after these high draft players, these players that are drafted high but then didn't pan out for their team. And maybe he could be a situation like Kadarius Toney, where the Chiefs took a flyer on a guy that was an early draft pick and they liked him and they see what he can bring to the team. Moving on to the Jaguars. I do not see anyone on the Jaguars team that I think they would be willing to get rid of. That brings us to the Rams. Old friend alert. The Rams may be willing to part ways with Demarcus Robinson. And Demarcus Robinson, if you remember, one game versus the Raiders, whenever Mahomes was throwing the ball to him, he had like 200 yards in one game. So the rapport between Demarcus Robinson and Mahomes is there. They're familiar. That could be a potential trade option. Moving on to the Panthers, I think Deontay Johnson is an intriguing option for the Chiefs. The Panthers are 1-4. Who knows what they're going to do going forward next season if they're ready to move on from Bryce Young. But they may be in a little bit of a situation where they might want to be looking for some draft picks. So there are 4 teams out of those 6 that are kind of waving the white flag potentially this season that have options for the Chiefs to trade with. But the Chiefs might look at all this and say, you know what? We kind of want to keep our 3rd round draft pick for next year. We like what we have on offense. You just saw Juju Smith-Schuster go off for 130 yards last week versus the Saints. And so you have to think, okay, well, what did the Chiefs do in that game? Well, the Chiefs did something that myself and many others have been excited to see for a long time, and that is they started going to more tight end sets. 2 tight end sets, 3 tight end sets. They brought Jody Fortson back onto the roster. He caught a pass. I think that the Chiefs have a really good tight end room, and this could be a logical solution for losing Rashee Rice. Let's go more heavy tight end sets. Let's run the ball a little more. And we got Juju Smith-Schuster. And this is the one thing about a receiver in the Patrick Mahomes-led offense that I think is the most underrated quality. Travis Kelce has it, Rashee Rice has it, and Juju Smith-Schuster has it. And that is they are in sync mentally with each other. So if you watch Travis Kelce play, he will often not even run the route. I was watching Monday Night Football broadcast, and Bill Belichick was sitting there, and he said Kelce basically runs the general concept of the route. But then at some point in time, if it's not open, he'll do whatever he wants, and Mahomes finds him. Juju Smith-Schuster can also do that. On that big 50-yard reception, there was max protect, and Juju Smith-Schuster was acting like he was going to block. He saw that his side didn't have a blitzer coming, so he said, okay, I'll go out here where nobody's standing. And then Mahomes found him, and what do you know, it's a big 50-yard play. Rashee Rice is also good at doing that. So this is a component in a player that the Chiefs will be looking for, is how well do you think that they can sync up with Mahomes mentally? How well do you think they will do finding the open spot and taking advantages of those situations? And you know what? The Chiefs, I would not be shocked at all if November 5th comes around and they do not make a trade at all. And they just go on to the season using a lot more tight end sets and going forward that way. But now's your chance to let me know down in the comments, do you have an eye on a free agent or on a wide receiver trade acquisition the Chiefs could make? Who is that person for you? Tell me who you like down in the comments. And then as always, hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, inching there closer every single day. And then hit the like button too. Got nothing but love and appreciation for y'all. Appreciate all the comments. Y'all have been on fire in the comments later. Got nothing but love for you guys. But the overall state of the union for the Chiefs heading into their bye week, it's an early bye week for them. I think it comes at a good time because they were getting a little nicked and dinged up here or there. But as of week 6, the Chiefs are still the best team in the NFL. They ended the last season being the best team, and right now I think still they're unanimously the best team. But who are they? What is the Chiefs' identity? That's very clear to me. The Chiefs' identity is we're going to play hella good defense, and then Mahomes and the offense is going to do just enough. But there's been a shift between this year and the last 2 years for the Chiefs, and that is part of their identity is morphing from this team that throws the ball all the time to a team that's more open to running the ball. So now we have a team that is a defensive-minded team, more open to running the ball, and Mahomes is going to do just enough to win the game. So if you look at how much the Chiefs have been running the ball, you might have been watching the games and think, I think the Chiefs have been running the ball a little more. You notice that Kareem Hunt had 28 carries the other day, which is a lot for an Andy Reid running back. So in 2022, the Chiefs ran the ball 33.3% of the time. In 2023, the Chiefs ran the ball 32.5% of the time. In 2024, so far this year, the Chiefs have been running the ball 41% of the time. That's an increase of about 8 or 9%. And so when I calculated these numbers, I did not count Mahomes' rushes as rush attempts. I counted them as pass attempts because Mahomes is never getting a designed run. He's dropping back there to pass, and then he's taking off to run. So the Chiefs are electing to run the ball 9%, 8 or 9% more in 2024 than they were in years past. And this is setting up options for them offensively that I am falling in love with. And one of those options is play action. Used to be the Chiefs would do play action and no one would bite. Now teams are biting because they have some teeth to their run game. And I am excited for Isaiah Pacheco to come back. But right now, Kareem Hunt has been doing a great job for the Chiefs running the ball, and this is a good sign, especially if they want to continue to form their identity this way. Moving on to the rest of the AFC, who are the Chiefs in competition with for that top spot, for that playoff bye? Only one team gets a bye after they change the format. The Ravens are 3-2. The Chiefs have a 3-game lead ahead of them, essentially, because they own the tiebreaker. The Bills are 3-2. I'm still not sold on the Bills. I think the Bills lost a lot of key players, and they may take a step back this year. The Bengals are 1-4. In years past, we thought the Bengals were going to be the Chiefs' biggest threat. And right now, you're sitting at 1-4. Statistically, those teams don't make the playoffs a lot, and when they do, they don't go very far. So it's a bad start for the Bengals. And I think the biggest threat to the Chiefs this year are the Houston Texans. So C.J. Stroud and that offense has been looking great. I think that the reason they're the biggest threat is because they're an unknown commodity. And you've heard me mention on this channel several times that the Chiefs historically have done well versus a lot of teams. And there's this old rule in the NFL. I didn't make it up. It's just a stat that no team has won their first Super Bowl together after the head coach and quarterback have been together for more than 5 years. So that's the Ravens. That's the Bills. Both those head coaches and quarterbacks have been together for 5 or more years. The Bengals, I don't know about Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow if they've been together 5 years. This might be their 5th year together. I can't remember. But C.J. Stroud, that definitely falls in that category. They have not been together for 5 years. The Chiefs have not faced off against them in the regular season at their full power. So this is the biggest unknown to me. The Houston Texans are the biggest unknown to me. And because of that, right now, I think they are the biggest threat to the Chiefs going into the playoffs. Biggest threat as well to take that number 1 spot for the Chiefs. So this is their competition, in my opinion. Like I said, the Chiefs have a 3-game lead versus the Ravens. That's a lot to come back from when the Chiefs are playing defense like the way they are. The Texans, on the other hand, play the Chiefs at the end of the year, and that game could have huge ramifications for the playoffs. So that's who I think the biggest threat is in the AFC right now. But if you're looking at this, and I told you at the start of the season the Chiefs would start 5-0, which I did tell you this, that also the Chiefs are 5-0, the Ravens are 3-2, the Bills are 3-2, and the Bengals are 1-4, you would say this was a great start to the 2024 season, great start to the three-peat campaign, and I would agree with you. Things couldn't be going better for the Chiefs heading into this bye week. Let's get them rested up, but let me know also down in the comments who you think the biggest threat is to the Chiefs in the AFC. Do you think it's someone other than Texans? Are you with me there? But that's all I got for this week. Let's head into the bye. Everyone, go out and enjoy something with your family while the Chiefs aren't playing. I'm going to plan to go for a little camping trip, so it'll be a good time. But I want all of y'all to stay safe, enjoy the weekend, and here's to an off week for the Chiefs. Hopefully they can get some rest and be ready for their Week 7 matchup versus the San Francisco 49ers. Y'all take care.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.